Laying in front of me are some of the best hybrids released in 2025. We're going to break them down into a few categories, including sound, feel, and then decipher the performance of these clubs to determine which ones may be right for your game. Let's get into it. So when it comes to choosing a golf club, you really have to like the looks of it, both from a shelf appeal point of view, when it's in your bag so you can boast to all your friends, but also when it's down behind the ball at address. That's the most important thing. But looks are very much a matter of personal preference. Some people like a slightly larger head, some like a more compact head. It depends on what you're trying to get out of a hybrid and the performance that you're seeking. I've selected three that I think all golfers will love. And the first one I want to talk about is the Srixon ZXi. Now, Srixon are making massive waves in the metalwood industry. I think their drivers and fairway woods this year alone are outstanding. And the hybrid follow suit. They're all uniform. They all look the same, which I really, really like. They haven't changed from the driver to fairway to hybrid. They all look the same. The mixture of gloss and satin tones across the head, I think, looks superb. There is one little bugbear, the technology highlighted on the face here, the iFlex on the toe there, just kind of stands out a little too much for my liking. But my next choice doesn't fail in that category, and that is the Mizuno ST Max. I think this thing just looks absolutely awesome. It's a carry-on product from last year, and I raved about this in last year's video as well. But the black head with the bolt blue Cortec chamber, you've got the Mizuno bird alignment aid on the top to ensure that you're centering that ball at address. And while it is a teardrop finish and it probably will suit the eye of the better player, I still feel like it's large enough that those seeking a bit more confidence can get it out of this club. But there was one standout winner for me, and the rest of the Golf Monthly team agreed with me on this front, and that is that it's the Cobra DS Adapt Hybrid. This thing just looks mega. It's this matte black head all over. It's got little gloss tones, a bit like the Srixon, I guess, on the sole. The Power Bridge technology underneath is highlighted in this silver that really makes it just pop a little. The QR code highlighting the Future Fit hosel was something that I don't particularly like, but at the end of the day, we spend most of the time looking down on this club at address, not so much in our hands, so it's not too much of an area of concern. When the club is down at address, the score lines on the face here are bright white, really highlight the loft on this face, will inspire confidence, and I just think, for me, there is no better looking hybrid in 2025 than the Cobra DS Adapt. Okay, while the looks are important, obviously, when choosing a golf club, you still have to like how it sounds and feels. And there's a few models to me that stood out. Now, the first one I want to talk about is the Black Ops 0311 hybrid from PXG. I'm going to clip a few away, and hopefully the microphone can pick up the sound here, and you'll gain a good understanding of just why I like the sound and feel of this club. Now, it does have this kind of gloss carbon crown on the top, which is said to have muted the sound of these hybrids. I still find it's quite high pitched. It's quite a light sound, but some people may like that. Some people think that sounds powerful. So let's give one a hit here. Hopefully you can understand what I'm talking about. Well, it's a really nice strike, and what I really like about this is, yes, it is slightly higher pitched and it does sound powerful, and it feels really powerful. It feels quite fast off the face, and for that reason, I think a lot of golfers will really love the Black Ops Hybrid. So the next model that I want to talk about is probably the latest release in the hybrid world, and that is the Titleist GT2. Now, there are 3 hybrid models that have just been released by Titleist. You've got the 1, 2, and 3. The 2 fits in the middle and has seen a 10% increase in MOI compared to the TSR2 model, which I was equally impressed with. So what is it that's changed with this hybrid in terms of the sound and feel? Well, I think it actually sounds a little more lively. It's not quite as high frequency and high pitched as the Black Ops, but it falls just under that. It sounds a little louder than the TSR2 model. Let's give this one a hit and hopefully you'll be able to hear it. It just sounds, there's a whooshing sound through the ball which I really love. That was actually hit slightly out the bottom, and that's another reason why I love this club. It feels just as good out the bottom of the face as it does the middle. I think a lot of golfers will really get on with this club. But the last model I wanted to talk about was the TaylorMade QI35. Now again, there are two models in the TaylorMade QI35 hybrid family. You've got this one and the Max. This is the standard version. To me, I feel like this did everything the Max did, and for that reason, I just don't see why you would need to go to the Max model unless you were looking for a slightly larger head. But in terms of the sound and feel, you've got this chromium carbon crown on the top, which not only looks great, but actually has saved weight. Put it in the bottom, it's easy to launch, but also dampens the sound and vibrations through impact as well. That's something I particularly love. I've always loved like a thud-like sound, and for that reason, I think this is the best feeling hybrid of 2025. So rather than just tell you what I felt was the most forgiving hybrids of this year, at Golf Monthly we wanted to come up with something a little more substantial, some quantifiable data to back up what we're saying. And so what we've done is we have taken the furthest shot hit with this particular club, minus the yardage between that and the shortest club hit, as well as the furthest left hit shot and the furthest right hit shot, divide it by 2, and that will give you your number. Because of that, there were two clear standouts when it came to the most forgiving hybrids. The first of those is the Callaway Elite Hybrid. And this isn't just the Elite, this is the Elite X. It's the slightly larger model. It's got 2 weight ports, as does the standard model, so you can kind of dial in that preferred shot shape, but it is a slightly more draw bias club. Now, the reason I found this to be the most forgiving is it does have the AI 10X smart face in there. Thousands of data points have gone into the production of this face in order to produce a face that has variable thickness. So if you hit one out the toe or out the hill, you should see the same kind of ball speeds and same ball flight that you would see as if you hit one out the middle. Let's give one a hit. I'm almost going to try and miss this one on purpose just to show you what I mean, but I find that this club just wants to produce a high draw. That's all it does. No matter where I hit it on the face, I seem to get a high draw, and that is largely down to the head design and where it is weighted. Just absolutely beautiful. I didn't actually miss hit. That was probably one of the best hits that I've had while I'm out here at this beautiful golf course. But it's an ultra forgiving head. This is one to check out. But there is one that is slightly more forgiving, and that is the Ping G440. Yes, Ping always seem to feature in the most forgiving segments of our videos because they are just outrageously consistent when it comes to downrange dispersion, and I just couldn't fault this club when it came to miss hits. I've tried hitting them out the bottom. The slightly taller face means I was hitting a few more out the bottom than last year's model, but it just climbs up in the air as if it was a normal shot. I found it to be extremely versatile out of different lies. Even when I mishit them, these hybrids have now got the carbon wrap crown, which means that there is more flexion in the face and a more stable face from heel to toe, therefore producing more consistent ball flights across the board. Let's give one a hit here and see how we get on. So I've actually hit that one a long way out the hill, and it has faded and it's climbed up a touch, but I haven't lost much distance. In fact, it's only gone about 5 yards shorter than the Callaway Elite X. And for that reason, the Ping G440 hybrid for me, and it's not just for my opinion, the data proves that this is the most forgiving hybrid of 2025. Okay, as you may have noticed, I am not in fact in the UK. I am at the beautiful La Hacienda Links golf course here in the south of Spain. If you're enjoying the backdrop, make sure you drop a like on this video, and if you like any of the products that you see in today's video, I will make sure I will link them out in the description box below for the cheapest price in your selected area. Okay, so we've talked about the looks, we've talked about the sound and feel, but ultimately a golf club has to perform in order for it to gain a place in your bag. Now, the data here on the left of myself gives you a chance to compare all the different models between launch, spin, carry, even descent angle, and you can work out which one you feel like may suit your game the best. I'm going to run through a few key areas of performance and which hybrids I think actually performed the best in those select areas. So if there's a part of the game you're really looking to improve on with your hybrids, this is the time to listen up. Now, you may not want a hybrid necessarily that just performs off the fairway. You may want one as an alternative option to, say, a driver or a fairway wood off the tee. And for that, you're going to want something that produces fast ball speeds, but also relatively low spin in order to produce a penetrating, flatter ball flight that you get maximum roll and therefore maximum distance. There were 3 models that stood out in particular, and that would be the TaylorMade QI 35. There were 2 models, like I said earlier in the video, but the core model for me produced a nice flat ball flight and ball speeds on average of around 147 miles per hour. Now we ramp it up one more notch and we go to the Strixon ZX-I hybrid. Now, again, produced very fast ball speeds thanks to the iFlex and rebound frame technology in the face. That essentially creates more flexibility within the face, and therefore off-center hits come out with the same ball speeds as they would out the middle, or relatively. But the last one I want to talk about is the Cobra DS Adapt. And not only is this the best looking hybrid, like I said, in my opinion, it was the fastest. This hot face technology that has been around in the last few generations of Cobra metalwoods and hybrids continues in the DS Adapt hybrid, and it produces just, I wouldn't say knuckleball ball flights because that's doing it a disservice. They're hot but penetrating. You can almost lean back and crank it up in the air if you need to, but for the most part, you get quite a fast, penetrative ball flight, and it's one that I really love. If you're looking for a hybrid to hit particularly off the fairway, you're going to want something that launches quite high with a lot of spin so it can come down steeply onto a green and hold the green instead of rolling out. Now, there are 3 models that stood out in particular. The first of those is the Wilson Dynapower. I found this was actually my highest launching hybrid that I tested. It had quite a lot of excess spin though and did occasionally balloon up in the air. But the other 2 would be the Callaway Elite and the Titleist GT2. Not only do these hybrids look spectacular, but they both feature dual weight ports so you can dial in a preferred ball flight, switching the weights from the heel to the toe, but they both also feature an adjustable hosel, which means you can actually dial in the trajectory. So when you're hitting off the fairway, if you find it's climbing too high, you can knock the flight down, and vice versa. If you find it's launching too low, you can bump the loft up on the head to produce that high, powerful ball flight off the fairway that will hopefully get you holding greens more often. So if, like me, and you find yourself being slightly erratic off the tee, you'll end up playing from the first cut of rough quite a lot. So I have found 2 hybrids that I feel are particularly strong at playing out of the rough. Trust me, I've had a lot of practice on this one. The first of those is the Ping G440, and even sat down behind the ball in the rough, I just feel like it frames it so well. The score lines on the face make the loft really stand out, and it makes it look really confidence-inspiring behind the ball. There's a new free hosel design as well, which means weight has been saved in the hosel, redistributed lower and further back in the head in order to create high launch and maximum spin, which is exactly what we want when coming out the rough. Let's give one a hit here. We're in quite a thick, snaggy lie in the rough here. Let's see how it pops out. Well, it's come out pretty clean, if I do say so. It's gone chasing down the fairway. It wasn't overly high, but it's got enough spin on it. You can just see it wanting to climb, which means if you're playing into a green, it's likely to hold. And if you're just trying to advance it down the fairway, you're getting enough carry on it to gain considerable distance. But the one that I thought was absolutely exceptional out the rough was the PXG Black Ops 0311. Now, the reason behind this, I'm just going to tread this down a little here, so hopefully you can get a really good understanding of how this club performs. Naturally, this club spins quite a lot. I found that even when testing off the tee in the fairway, so you're likely to see that ball, again, pop up a really high floaty ball flight, even out the rough. And I found this club to be extremely good at holding greens when playing out the rough. Let's give this one a hit. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. Okay, so for the better player and more confident ball striker among you, you're going to want a hybrid that's a bit more workable. It doesn't just produce the same high, straight ball flight. You're going to want something that you can turn in and out, and it's a bit more iron-like. And for that, I've got two suggestions. The Mizuno ST Max has got that teardrop look, which makes it really easy to manipulate the club face without making it appear like it's pointing miles offline. But the second option, and my favorite, is the Titleist GT3. There's plenty of customizable options here through the hosel, and again, the dual weight ports on the top of the club here. But the ability to be able to hit, I would say, high cuts and low draws has never been easier than with this Titleist hybrid. I'm gonna hit a few here. To start with, we're gonna aim down the left side here, and we're just gonna peel a high cut into the air. I mean, that was just effortless launch. And what I absolutely love about this hybrid is the fact I can pull another ball over and I can go from a high cut that just climbs and will land like it's got a butterfly with sore feet, or I can put a ball back in my stance, just close the toe in a touch and feel as though I swing slightly out to the right, and I get a completely different ball flight, much flatter, chasing down the fairway with a hint of draw. And that is perfect for advancing down long par 5s, or if there's a long par 3 that you might struggle to carry to, you can pull this club out, get one turning over, a bit of run, and who knows, you might even chase it up onto the green. Okay, so this little section here is talking about which hybrids are the most adjustable, and if you're like me and you like to tinker, or you play different courses and you actually want slightly different setups within your clubs, then these are the three hybrids that offer the most when it comes to adjustability. You've got the TaylorMade QI35, which has the standard TaylorMade adjustable hosel, and then you've got the Titleist GT2, which has, like I said, the two weight ports, one slightly heavier than the other in the toe and the heel. You can flip them over to dial in a ball flight, or use the shore fit setting in order to change loft and lie. But the one that is probably the most impressive and is a new release this year is the Cobra DS Adapt. Now, I'm gonna quickly take the head off here and you'll understand why this is so impressive. It's got the Cobra Future Fit 33 hosel. That does mean there are 33 different loft and lie settings that you can actually have on this one hybrid. I mean, that is absolutely insane. And while it may seem overly complicated, there is actually a really handy QR code etched into the hosel here. Scan it quickly with your smartphone and it brings up a really simple chart that shows you exactly what setting that you're looking for. Or let's say you hit a low draw and you want to hit a high fade, it shows you exactly what setting you need to put it in order to achieve that ball flight. So for that reason, the Cobra DS Adapt, I think, is by far the most adjustable hybrid release this year. So there you have it. I have tested all of the best hybrids released this year. I've split them up into different categories and given you the best ones from each. But if I was to pick a favorite, it would be the Cobra DS Adapt. This thing offers superb ball speed, amazing amounts of forgiveness, and even looks spectacular. If you want one of these for yourself, remember, the link is in the description below.